finally feeling free. Welcome to the Pesach Perspective. The Pesach Perspective is sponsored by Yoram and Yael Cohen and family. May Hashem bless them with much health, success, and happiness. The Pesach Perspective is in honor of the complete and speedy recovery of Shaul ben Berta and Dalit bas Shoshana. The Pesach Perspective is dedicated in memory of Shlomo ben Edward and Edward ben Shaul. May their souls be uplifted and their memories a blessing. We are about to celebrate Pesach, the holiday of freedom. After cleaning our homes to near perfection, we eat ancient but spiritual bread, the Matzah, and we drink 4 cups of wine in honor of our liberation. But the leading mitzvah of the day is to remember, recall, and relate the story of our freedom from Egypt. In the Haggadah, we read about 5 rabbis living under Roman oppression in the 2nd century. When they gathered for a seder, they lost track of time as they went deep into the story of our freedom. They had to be reminded by their students that it was already dawn, and they had to say Shema. The very act of telling the story of Yetzias Mitzrayim, our exodus from Egypt, is a clear mitzvah, a clear commandment in the Torah itself. The pasuk writes, "V'haya ki yisholcha bincha machar, lemer mazos, v'amarta elav b'chozik yad haitziyanu Hashem b'Mitzrayim mibeis avadim." When the time comes, your son will ask you, saying, "What does all this mean?" And you shall say to him, "It was with a mighty hand that God brought us out of Egypt, the house of bondage." The more we elaborate and expound on the story of Yetzias Mitzrayim, the greater our observance is on this important mitzvah. In fact, the Haggadah writes, "Kol hamarbez b'sipur Yetzias Mitzrayim harezim meshubach." All those who magnify their telling of the exodus from Egypt are praiseworthy. However, a question comes to mind. Unlike most other mitzvahs, we do not make a blessing before we begin to recount the story. Why don't we make a bracha before we start one of the principal mitzvahs of the entire Seder night? One of the common answers that is given is that we make a blessing for telling the story in the first step of the Seder, Kiddush. During Kiddush, we say, Mikrei Kodesh Zeichel Yetzias Mitzrayim, a holy assembly commemorating the exodus from Egypt. Since Kiddush already commemorates the story of our freedom, there's no need to say another bracha, a new bracha, just a short while later. However, the Chassam Sofer, Rav Moshe Schreiber, a leading rabbi from Europe in the 19th century, gives a deeper and more profound explanation. He compares this question to that circumstances of a person who is about to immerse in a mikvah and convert to Yiddishkeit, convert to Judaism. For they only make a blessing of conversion after they immerse in a mikvah. But in reality, they should make the blessing of conversion, the bracha on conversion, before they immerse, as we make brachas, blessings, before we do a mitzvah. But since the bracha has Ashir Kidishanu b'mitzvahs v'tzivanu, he who has sanctified us with his mitzvahs, with his commandments, and commanded us, a person who is not yet Jewish, a convert, cannot make this blessing. The Chassam Sofer quotes the Gemara in Pesachim, B'chol dar v'dar chayav adam liras etz atzma ki'ilu hu yatza miMitzrayim. In each generation, a person is obligated to feel as if he is leaving Egypt. The Chassam Sofer explains that since we must experience leaving Egypt, we too must convert, change, and transform ourselves. As the Haggadah writes that in the beginning our forefathers were idol worshippers, but now God has brought us into his service. Like converts, we cannot say the blessing of freedom before we elaborate on the story of slavery. For only then and after we experience the same exodus can we make the blessing, Baruch Atah Hashem Goy Yisrael. Blessed are you, God, who has redeemed the Jewish people. May we experience the ultimate redemption and celebrate this Pesach in Jerusalem, in Yerushalayim, with the 3rd Beis Hamikdash. Have a joyous and happy and meaningful Pesach.